First time in nearly 4 years, 4 different players put up 21 plus for the Clips. They get a team high 27 from Norman Powell and Kawhi Leonard. That's a season high for Kawhi, along with 7 rebounds up with an unreal 20. Well, Jimenez, Ben Houck, our engineer, Chase Brown, our statistician, Ryan Carson, who was learning from one of the best here at Frost Bank. The Clippers end the game, making their last 7 shots. They shoot 66% in the fourth, a part of that 20-3 run to close the door on the Spurs. Adam Oslin, take over, and Daniel West, take us away. Our final score here in San Antonio, 128-116. The Clippers avenge a loss a month ago in this building with a statement win over San Antonio. Postgame on Clippers Talk. Coming up next on our Clippers Audio Network.
The Claw snatches a victory away from his former team in the Spurs and gives it to the Clippers. They win 128-116 in San Antonio as Kawhi Leonard has a season-high 27 points, and the Clippers' Big Four showed up in a big way on the road against the Spurs. Welcome into your post-game show. I'm Adam Oslin. Coming up, second half highlights, your post-game box score, and more. But first, back out to Carlo Jimenez, your radio voice of the Clippers. Well, Carlo, they squeezed an extra minute out of Kawhi Leonard in this one, and he came through with a huge floater over Wemby, which might have been the biggest shot of the ball game late in the fourth.
I mean, just incredible stuff by Kawhi Leonard to close this game, Adam, to be able to finish things against San Antonio. it felt like from the get-go, Kawhi, I don't know if you agree with this, Adam, but he was a little more aggressive than I think we've seen him. I feel like at times he lets the game come to him, but tonight he took the game. And it started with the beginning when he was able to be aggressive early, led the team in points after the first quarter, got downhill and got to the rim. And we saw it again in the third, a team high 9 points in that third quarter, able to keep them high up and keep their heads above water. Just really impressive performance here by Kawhi Leonard down the stretch. Huge points in the fourth. Overall, Adam, the Clippers' ability to just be able to lock down on both ends of the floor down the stretch, I think this kind of gives us a glimpse into what it would look like in a playoff style environment. Like the Clippers get those 5 guys in there who start, and you look at these advanced numbers, and it's one of the best 5-man lineups in the league. And the Spurs had no answer. I mean, they shot 66%. They held them to 3 points in one stretch, go on a 20-3 run, and really just turn the lights out on the Spurs tonight. It was an impressive flexing of muscle and talent tonight against San Antonio. And this is a young San Antonio team that is the 3rd youngest team on average in the NBA. Obviously, learning experiences for them. It was just so impressive to see the Clippers go into take-over mode. And Kawhi Leonard really lead the way down the stretch. I mean, there's too many guys to scream names from the rooftop tonight, Adam. But Ivica Zubac, I mean, what more can you say? 9 offensive rebounds in this one, 22 on the total, 21 points, his second 2020 game this season. One of 4 players to have multiple 2020 games. I know the All-Star chances are slim, but when you look at the numbers across the board, it is hard to not imagine him as a top 10, possibly 5 center in the NBA. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, Ivica Zubac has been that good all season long. Preparation has met opportunity. He is taking advantage of having extended minutes out there. Big Zoo in a game against Wemby like this, where last time out, hey, Victor Wembanyama got the best of him. In fact, he got the best of the Clippers in general. They lost in San Antonio by 36. They didn't have Kawhi in that ball game, but they did have Big Zoo. Yeah. Tonight, he looked much better, much more in control, even though there were times where there was frustration from both teams, and Ivica Zubac didn't like some of the non-calls. He played through it enough to get to that point where he got an and one late on Victor Wembanyama, which was also a huge play in that fourth quarter. But the rebounds, whether it was taking care of the glass on the defensive end or the offensive rebounds, giving them those second chance opportunities, Zoo hasn't had many regular season games better than what we just saw in San Antonio.
And I think you bring up the biggest point, Adam. He had been shooting under 40% and averaging just 11 points a game in the previous 2 contests against Victor. So, I mean, Wembanyama had dominated those previous 2 matchups. What does Ivica Zubac do a month later? He comes in and he dominates Wembanyama tonight. I mean, the rebounding, the ability to get on the glass, to box down, to get second chance points. What's so great about Ivica Zubac, I think why the Clippers are able to win this game, is because Wemby's going to contest every shot. And because of that, the Clippers are going to have to adjust. But when you contest a shot, it is very hard to contest near the rim and rebound that same shot, turn around and grab the board. And Ivica Zubac made his money rebounding Clipper misses tonight. I mean, the ability to get put back points. Adam, the Clippers finished today with 22 second chance points, a season high on their 15 rebounds. They dominated that area of the ball, really able to get the hustle stats today in that section and be able to dominate. So impressive from Ivica Zubac. Felt like whenever the Clippers needed a bucket or a rebound late, he was able to grab one. And as you talked about, Adam, probably got fouled a couple times on some of these shots. Probably could have had more than 21 tonight. But what he could control, those 22 rebounds, big reason why he was plus 20 for the Clippers.
We talk about him all the time. You asked Coach Lou about him pregame, but Norman Powell in fourth quarters is special. He raises his level of play. He had 8 of his 27 points down the stretch, including a tough bucket over Wemby late as well.
Yeah, and that is his season average, fourth quarter points a game. He's averaging 8 a night. He is right on pace, Adam, to continue to be excellent in the fourth quarters. I thought it was really, really impressive the way he was able to get some of these layups by Wembenyama. I mean, one Wemby blocked and it still got in. So Norman Powell was trying to create angles. The mid-range jumpers were there. It's one thing about this Clipper team, Adam. KPJ is a 40% mid-range jumper shooter. We know Kawhi Leonard shoots that around 45%. The Clippers can beat you from the mid-range. They are versatile in the offensive end. I thought Norman Powell showed that off today with a couple pretty mid-range jumpers. But Norman Powell, just big shots tonight. And you look at this box score, and he only shoots it 15 times and doesn't get to the line as much as James Harden. So he takes the least amount of shots among those four guys with 20 points, and he finishes with a team-high 27. Uber efficient. Norman Powell. Voting comes out tomorrow, Adam. This was one more audition for Norman Powell, and I would say it was a good one. Hopefully he is rewarded tomorrow at 3:30.
He's certainly deserving. This Clippers team deserving of all the praise from the national media that said, hey, they'll be a bottom 4 seed without Paul George in the Western Conference. How's that looking now? Check the receipts. We're more than halfway through the season, and this Clippers team has a better chance of being a top 4 seed in the Western Conference right now. Yeah. Clippers win in San Antonio 128-116 over the Spurs. Game 2 of this 4-game roadie on Friday. They'll be in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. Tip-off at 4. Pre-game show starting at 3. Carlo Jimenez, great call as always. Let's do it again on Friday, my friend.
Let's do it Friday, Adam. Let's go.
Coming up next, more from Carlo Jimenez in highlight form. Clippers come through late. Kawhi Leonard plays big minutes late. And the Clippers win over his former team in the Spurs. You're listening to the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers win 128-116 in San Antonio. They improved to 27-20 on the season as they got 27, a season high from Kawhi Leonard in just his 9th game. Welcome back into your post-game locker room show. I'm Adam Osland. Still to come, we got Clippers talk, 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. But first, we got your second half highlights here. Clippers, well, in that first half, they led 65-60, 24 minutes in. In that third quarter, Kawhi Leonard, who had 12 points in the first half, continued to cook.
Leonard, left wing, dribbles down the right alley, stops, pops a right elbow jumper, and drops it in. Kawhi Leonard with a team-high 14. Leonard, baseline jumper, turns and hits. Leonard on the left wing, chests it, looks for a friend, puts it on the floor, steps back, a left wing three. Cash! Kawhi Leonard knocks down the triple. 19 for Kawhi and Norm. Both of them have 7 in the quarter. Leonard, free throw line jumper, lasers it in. Kawhi's got 21, and he cannot miss.
Kawhi with 9 points in the third quarter alone. Clippers led by as many as 16, but the Spurs went on a 20-4 run. And before they got to the fourth, it was 94-92. Clippers up by just 2. But to start that fourth quarter and to really help put this ball game away, it was Big Zoo just being a beast on the boards and creating those second chance opportunities.
Norm on the left wing. Thought about a three. Rips through going right. Gets a step on Champagny. Left-handed layup. Twists one up. No. Zubac a rebound. A putback. And it's in. 16 points. 16 rebounds for Big Zoo. Derrick Jones Jr. layup over Wemby. No. Zubac the rebound. And the putback dunk. 18 points and 20 boards. He's inhaling them like they're air tonight in San Antonio. Leonard at the free throw line, turns the corner, muscles through Castle, drowning in black jerseys, feeds it for Zoo, floats and finishes, plus the foul! Ivica Zubac is an unstoppable force tonight in San Antonio. 20 points, 20 rebounds. It's a double-double animal style.
Big Zoo, extra spread, extra onions, grilled onions. I think mustard's on the inside of the bun too. He had 7 points and 8 boards in the fourth quarter alone. 128-116 was your final as Big Zoo finished with 21 points and 22 boards. Just the fourth player in the NBA this season to have multiple 20-20 games. The other 3 guys, Karl Anthony Towns, Domantas Sabonis, and Nikola Jokic. He's in good company. Clippers win in San Antonio. Coming up next, your final box score right here on the Los Angeles Clippers Audio Network. Clippers win in San Antonio 128-116. They beat Kawhi Leonard's former squad. I'm Adam Osland. This is your Clippers post-game show. Clippers locker room still to come On AM 570 LA Sports, we'll have Clippers talk for you. 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. Clippers ended up shooting 53% from the field, 12 of 24 from the outside. That's 50% from three, as opposed to just 14 to 42 from three for the San Antonio Spurs. That's 33%. They ended up shooting 48% from the floor overall. But the Clippers, where did they crush them? On the boards. Something fierce. It was 57 to 30. They got 27 more boards, 17 to 7 when it came to offensive rebounds. The Clippers went plus 10 there, thanks to Big Zoo. He had 9. Derek Jones Jr. had 4, by the way. Ivica Zubac, 21 and 22 against Victor Wembanyama. Put some respect on his name. There's been a faction of Clipper Nation that have been Zoo haters and doubters for a long time. I don't know how you can doubt anything this guy's been doing. This is what happens when you give somebody that is a hard worker a bigger opportunity to show what he can do. That's what this is. He didn't change his game this summer. He's been like this. Ivica Zubac has been a stud. He has been hiding in plain sight. I've been talking about him for years, saying there is an easier path to victory, and it's playing through Ivica Zubac. And they never exploited that enough. Well, now it's happening, and you're seeing the results. He led them with a plus 20 as well. Kawhi Leonard, the season high, 27 points in 29 minutes. A slight minutes increase. I think he was good for 30 tonight. They distributed his minutes a little bit differently in that fourth quarter. Instead of starting it, he came in around the 9-minute mark, then came out around 4 minutes, then came back in around the 2.5-minute mark. Had a big shot over Wemby, a tough floater. That's about as tough as it gets. And he was 11 of 19 from the field. Most of his shots in the mid-range. Did knock down 2 3-pointers. But what I took note of was how he was distributing and getting everyone else involved too. The best players in NBA history know when to take over and when to get the others involved and how to balance that. Kawhi Leonard had 7 assists and 27 points and just knew when to pick his spots, when to get his, and when to get others involved. James Harden, 21, 12 assists, did have 6 turnovers, but a huge kill shot 3 late off the assist from Kawhi Leonard. He was 3 of 5 from the outside. Norman Powell, 27, 9 of 15 shooting, 3 of 6 from distance. Stormin' Norman Powell. And how about Nico Batum? What a game from him. Last 2 games were rough. He started 3 of 3 from distance, finished 4 of 5 overall, and had 12 points. The bench was better tonight. Clippers win 128-116 in San Antonio over the Spurs. Outside of Los Angeles, we are leaving you until Friday when the Clippers are in Charlotte, taking on the Hornets. Tip off at 4, pregame at 3. In LA, do not go anywhere. It's Clippers talk next. Kawhi spurned the Spurs. He goes back to his old stomping grounds in San Antonio, drops 27, a season high, and the Clippers win 128-116 over the San Antonio Spurs. Welcome into your post-game show. This is Clippers Talk. I'm Adam Osland, 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. Daniel, what time are we on till tonight? What time are we going till tonight? Give it to me. Give it to me.
I'm looking about 8:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're with you for the next 45 minutes here. If you want to get on or just hang out in the chat, we're with you. After a big Clippers victory, and I say that because the big four got loose. Kawhi with 27, Big Zoo with 21 and 22, James Harden with 21 and 12 assists, Norman Powell with 27 points himself. And they brought it home down the stretch. They were pushed multiple times. I thought the Clippers let go of an opportunity to step on the Spurs' throats in the third quarter. I thought they were going to put the game away. They led by as many as 16 there. Spurs go on a 20-4 run. They took a 90-89 lead late in that third quarter. But the Clippers, after a Harden layup, would reclaim the lead. They were up by 2, heading into the fourth. And the defense and the offense, it was some of their best work all year. They outscored the Spurs by 10 in that fourth quarter. And really, Spurs got a couple of easy ones late. It wasn't even that close after the game got out of hand because the Clippers were so locked in, laser focused late in the fourth. Kawhi did not start the fourth, though. That's what was interesting. He was at, I think, 20 minutes coming out of the third where he had just scored 9 points in the third quarter. And I thought, oh, Kawhi's definitely going to start the fourth again, right? Minutes restrictions at 28, right? He'll play the first 7 minutes, just like last game. Not this time. San Antonio would get a layup to tie the game at the beginning of the fourth. But after that, they went almost 5 minutes without a point. In between there, KPJ, jumper. KPJ, step back baseline jumper. He had their first 4 points in a block early on in the fourth. And then out of the phone booth and back out onto the court at the 9:34 mark was Kawhi Leonard. Zubac gets a putback, though, on a Harden miss. A Zoo block on the other end on Castle. The Clippers did have a possession where they overpassed and Amir Coffey caught their grenade. Shot clock violation. Then Zoo some great defense on Wemby. A Norm layup, and the Clippers are up 102-94. Zoo getting all the boards, 8 of them in the fourth quarter alone. The Spurs still weren't going away, though. Johnson got them a bucket to make it 102-94. That was their first after the first 15 seconds of the fourth. They went almost 5 minutes without scoring. The Clippers were suffocating defensively. From the 11:46 mark to the, where's that Keldon Johnson bucket? To the 7:11 mark. They didn't score a point, the Spurs. And the Clippers had led 102-94. But Johnson a bucket there. Vassell a three-pointer. And it's a 4-point game again. Timeout. Out of the timeout, Kawhi, fade away, mid-range, near side. Looking like MJ96, as I've been calling him since he became a Clipper. Vassell hits another 3. Clippers up by 2 at 104-102. Kawhi misses a 3. Wemby knocks down a three-pointer. Clippers are down by 1. It's 105-104. When it looked like they were about to put it away again, just like in the third quarter, they face adversity. It comes down to clutch time minutes. They're down by 1 with 5:38 left after that Wemby 3. Then Zoo, a big putback on a DJ miss. Vassell layup. Zoo and 1 off a feed from Kawhi where he was fouled, and he was fouled many times before this, but couldn't get the call. And it's 109-107 Clippers. Now they start to take control again. Harden gets fouled, goes to the line, did miss one, missed a couple of free throws in the ball game. Kawhi goes to the bench, though, at the 4:09 mark. Clippers are up 3. It's 110 to 107. Kawhi's back on the bench. Can they close without him? Norm to the line. Hits both. Vassell to the line on the other end. Misses the first and misses the second. Devin Vassell, with the Clippers up 5, missing 2 free throws like that was huge, but not bigger than this. Next possession for the Clippers, Norm, layup on Wemby. Wemby misses. Zubac's board. Harden 3. Clippers up 10. Kawhi comes back at the 2:55, and the Clippers have extended the lead. They're up 10. Zoo's grabbing more boards. Then Kawhi gets that crazy floater, the leaner, from about 8 feet out over Victor Wembanyama. There aren't any tougher guys. There aren't any tougher guys to hit a shot against in the league than Victor Wembanyama in those circumstances. Wemby would hit a 3, but the Clippers, the damage was done as Norm goes to the free throw line, hits a jumper, and then Harden, long outlet to Kawhi Leonard, who was doing a little bit of cherry picking and had a throwdown back in San Antonio. That must have felt good. At that time, I think Carlo said cherry on top, although there's always room for a little bit more. And the Clippers had some of that chocolate syrup a little bit, maybe some whipped cream on top, as Kawhi found James Harden for a 3 to put him up 126 to 111. The game was over. They win 128 to 116 and just were able to impose their will in key moments in the second half. That's what I saw tonight from this Clippers team. 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. Kawhi Leonard, I said it early in the third quarter, and I think the tweet I put out was something to the effect of, I am beyond sure that Kawhi Leonard can get back to right where he was last season, where he had a 30-game stretch that was the highest efficiency stretch in NBA history over a 30-game span, where he was shooting, I think, 57, 51, 91 shooting splits over 30 games was an NBA record. I think I've seen enough to know that if he can just stay healthy, it's all still there for Kawhi. And I said in the tweet thread, the X post thread, whatever you want to call it, that I do for every game early on, I thought Kawhi would come out and be more aggressive. Right before the game started, I just had a feeling, because Coach Lue said he started slow last game against Phoenix, and I think Kawhi post-game said the same. He did not start slow tonight. First of all, he was guarding CP3. That was fun to see. He missed a jumper, but DJ put it back in. He had a jumper at the 8-minute mark, a fadeaway on the far side baseline, just a thing of beauty. Another midi spinning jumper at the free throw line. He did go for a reverse layup out of a timeout, couldn't get it, but Zoo got it and got fouled. Then he had a block on Barnes, ended up with a Harden layup. He comes out at the 5:03 mark of the second quarter. He comes back in not to start the second, just like he didn't start the fourth. He came in at the 10:39 mark of the second. He ends up spinning, and this is the playmaking part of his game tonight that was so impressive to me, in that balance of knowing when to score and knowing when to get others involved. He had a kick out to DJ on the far side corner for 3 in the second quarter, where Kawhi attacked the paint. He brought the big up. He already had a double team. He brings the big up. It's basically a triple team. And he emphasized the pass, the one-handed pass, shovel pass to DeAndre Jordan in the far side corner. Why do I say DeAndre Jordan still? DJ Derrick Jones Jr. for a three-pointer. He had another pass to KPJ for a spinning and one layup. Then he ripped a quick pass into the interior on the left block to KPJ a couple of possessions later. He couldn't finish the layup, but it was a beautiful pass. Kawhi got fouled on a 3 in the second quarter, the 7:05 mark. He hits a three at the 6-minute mark, put the Clippers up 5. Did have a bad turnover, but then Harden got it back to him for a cherry-picking dunk to make it 56-49, a sign of things to come. They would connect in the fourth quarter for the same play. He had an offensive rebound off a Harden miss from 3, got it back to Harden. Harden hits the 3 this time. Amir comes in for him at the 3:18 mark of the second quarter. Now, Kawhi does start the third, naturally, and he had a jumper to start things off on the right elbow. And he scores 9 points in that period, but that jumper to start the third quarter put him up by 7. Then he had a baseline jumper over Wemby that was just, as the kids say, and I used to say, sick. So maybe the kids don't say it anymore, because when I was a kid and I used to say it, it's probably out now. It was boss, man. 71-65 was the score. That baseline jumper was filthy over Victor Wembanyama. Kawhi, a 3 on the left wing, made it 79-67. We thought they were pulling away then. A free throw line jumper to give him 21 points over Barnes, made it 85-70. I thought for sure this could be it for San Antonio. They battled. They played with desperation. But the Clippers showed the separation in talent and what Kawhi Leonard can do just being closer to 30 minutes out there. I want to see exactly what he ended up at. It was 29. No, that's not the final box score. Why can't I get the last final box score for real? For real, for real. I need it. I need this. Well, he was just under 30 minutes. But I think we'll hear post game. Maybe 30 is the new 28. Which would actually, yeah, no, that'd be good as you age. Maybe he's at 30 minutes now. Because tonight, I think if the game was still close, he doesn't come out in the last minute after that James Harden 3 when it was all but over. So we'll see on Friday, and we'll hear post-game. We'll take a quick time out, but before we do that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on AM 570 LA Sports. The Clippers finished with 3 30-plus point quarters, one 29-point quarter. Outscored the Spurs 34-24 in the fourth. And Big Zoo, third career game with 20 points, 20 boards, second this season. I mean, he almost had a 30-30 before. Still upset about that, but fouled out late. I'm Adam Oslin after the Clippers win in San Antonio, 128-116. More Clippers talk next during AM 570 LA Sports. Clippers get 27 from Kawhi in 28 minutes and 39 seconds. So maybe he's not 30 minutes yet. He's just a little bit over 28. I'm Adam Oslin. This is Clippers Talk. 866-987-2570. 866-987-2570 is the phone number. Let's get to Demetrius in Manhattan Beach. Demetrius, what's up?
Adam, long time, you know.
It's been too long.
Every time I call in. Yeah, it's been a while. I called in about a couple of weeks ago, but you know when I call in, it's going to be some good stuff. Good to hear from you, Adam. I will say this. We spoke last time about the Clippers and the overall the Clippers when all the haters was talking about Big Zoo. Me and you've been on the same page about Big Zoo, and we're going to ride it all the way through the championship. Now, we do need the Clippers to be healthy, but I will tell you, it starts with Big Zoo. As long as we implement, he's always been there. It's been, Big Zoo has always been there. Maybe they've been going away from him, or maybe he hasn't been in a transitional game or whatever you want to call it. But now that he's comfortable and now that the team understands that what he needs to do, Big Zoo is really bringing it now. And he putting the NBA on notice. And I know he's making a late charge. I know it's tough for the All-Star, but I tell you what, if anyone get hurt in the All-Star game, he can possibly get picked up. But I would say this about the Clippers. As the last 10 games, they've been the ranked number one defense in the NBA.
Hey, it goes back 14 games now, Demetrius.
Oh, wow. Okay. 14 games, they've been the number one ranked defense in the league. And like we spoke, Adam, all the time, me and you speak about Zoo. Now that Kawhi is, and I got some information, inside information, but I will tell you this, that now that they're strengthening, now that they got some awesome modalities in place now, the guys got the state-of-the-art equipment there. I'm telling you, this team and Chris Dunn, with a little tweak, when they got about 35 games to go, Adam. I'm predicting them to go 30-5, and they can do it. And I'm telling you this, I got them in between 4 and 3, but I'm here to tell you about OKC Thunder, the Memphis Grizzlies, all the haters that picked all of them. Let me tell you something. This is a very, very dangerous team, and they got the hunt out for October for everybody. And you better pay attention now that Kawhi Leonard is getting in his place. He's jumping better. He's feeling good jumping now. He's kind of moving, like you said. He missed the reverse layup. That he's still in a little bit of edge situation where he's not taking full off. But again, I like the restriction that's been taken off. I like what Lou is doing, Adam, by giving him a minute here, giving him a minute there. I thought that he should have came back in late in that Phoenix game, but they really sticking to their program, and I love it. Because I believe that if he'd have came back in that Phoenix game, I believe we could have pulled that one off. And so I say this to say everything that we've talked about. It started with Big Zoo. Now they implement in Kawhi Leonard. Now you got the whole team is playing defense. Everybody is believing in it. You got Jeff Van Gundy saying, look, you guys, you play defense, you win. We got the better talent. We got the better starting five. And now Kawhi Leonard coming in the fourth quarter, being able to facilitate now more. People don't understand.
Hey. I've been talking about it.
Okay.
I was talking about it in the second quarter. Kawhi went into facilitator mode, was looking for KPJ multiple times, DJ. He had some beautiful passes in this ball game because the double teams are coming and he's finding the open man. Like I love the way Kawhi was passing in this game, probably more than anything.
And that's his new game plan, and we love it because we know he can do this. We know he could have this in his arsenal. He slimmed down a little bit more. He looked phenomenal. Like I said, Adam, I've seen him practice. And so they have some modalities in there. And I'm telling you, this team, I'm telling you, with the West, I predicted it all along. And when I call in, I'm right on the money. I predict him to go 30-5. Mark it down if you have to.
All right.
Now we know we know Kawhi Leonard may not play some back-to-back, but if I'm not sure,
Hey,
they don't have
Demetrius, he's not playing any back-to-backs. Like,
well,
we need to let that go right now. I don't think he's playing a back-to-back the rest of his career.
Okay. Well, but I will say this: we shouldn't have that many back-to-back games in the schedule. Now, I will look, and the next time we'll talk. But I just truly believe that they have enough firepower, and they've proven that with him off of the floor. But with him being the general, and with Zubac is concentrating on just offensive rebounding, being in Dennis Rodman mode, and being able to score. This is a team, Adam, and I'm telling you, this is a team I truly believe, if healthy, is coming out of the West. I don't care what nobody say about OKC. I think we'll send them a message. I think we see them, in a couple of weeks? I can't wait to see them with the Clippers, with Kawhi Leonard being fully in gun mode, and he's been playing about 15 games, and, getting Chris Dunn back. Everybody is implemented into Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy game plan. I'm so excited. I can't wait I'm not worrying about the Thunder. Memphis Grizzlies. I want to see the Thunder. I think they beat us the last 4 or 5 or 6 times. I think the Clippers is going to send them a serious message, and I think it's going to be on the defensive end.
All right, Demetrius, I think you made up for lost time here. Hopefully it doesn't take 2 weeks for you to get back on, okay?
Hey, nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
I love the phone call, Demetrius. You mentioned a Chris with a K. How about one with a C here? Christopher in Los Angeles. What's up?
Hello, Adam. I want to send out a big thank you to Chris Paul. He's one of my favorite NBA players of all time, and he helped turn around the Clippers organization when he came here.
I mean, that's fair. That was that was a windfall for the Clippers, being able to get him, and David Stern nixing the trade with him not being able to go to the Lakers.
Yeah, and then the year they defeated San Antonio in the series, I went to 3 of those games, and my most vivid memory was when JJ Redick missed that free throw towards the end of the game, and it rolled around the rim about 4 or 5 times and fell off.
That was a high level of drama. That series, that was one of the best first-round series in NBA history because it felt like a Western Conference Finals. That 2015 first-round series between the Clippers and Spurs, it was a 3-6 matchup. The Spurs lost a game at the very end of the season, slid down to the 6th spot. Yeah, it was crazy. Anything about tonight's game, Christopher?
I remember that.
That doesn't include CP3?
Yes, I was at game 2, 5, and 7 for that series.
How about in 2025? Have you been to Into a Dome yet?
You know what? I haven't gone to a Clipper game yet, but I was there for Billy Joel.
I mean, that works too. Oh.
So I'm hoping maybe to be there for both the Detroit game and the Sacramento game in March.
All right, Christopher. I'll see you there, my friend. All right.
Okay. Nice talking to you again, Adam.
Appreciate you, Christopher. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get back to your phone calls. Clippers win 128-116 over the Spurs in San Antonio. And Kawhi is looking very Kawhi-like. A lot of Kawhi lights, as I don't know who said it first between Ian Eagle and Noah Eagle, but heavy on the Kawhi lights in this ball game and jumpers over Victor Wembanyama. Clippers pull through. And they'll be in Charlotte on Friday. That'll be game 3 of this 4-game road trip. I'm Adam Oslands, and you're listening to AM 570 LA Sports. Clippers win 128-116 in San Antonio over the Spurs. As Tomer Azarli pointed out, at Tomer Azarli on X, Clippers are 11-2 this season when James Harden has 11-plus assists in a game. They're also 24-4 over the last 2 seasons when he has 11-plus assists in a game. James Harden finishing with 12 assists, still had 6 turnovers. There were some bad ones in the first half. He had it ripped from him twice. He thought there was a foul on Sohan, who got him both times. They didn't call it. There were some wild no calls in this ball game, guys. I understand why Big Zoo pushed Wemby. That should have been a foul on him, but he had just been fouled on the other end. Like 2 possessions earlier, he got hit in the eye again. He may rethink going back to the goggles. And then he gets hit on the head by Wemby, no call. San Antonio hits a 3, and as he's fighting for position underneath, he just shoved Wemby to the floor, who went flying into the far side corner. There was a timeout. Wemby got up with bad intentions at first. Cooler heads prevailed, but this was all the refs just letting it get out of control at times. Not calling anything. And with Zoo, there is a track record of just him not getting a phone call. Sorry, I got to go to a phone call here. Not getting a foul call, and I got to get to a phone call. My guy from New York, can you pronounce your name one more time for me? Riga from New York, calling about the Clippers. So there's 7 games over 500, and they've reached the East Coast bias time. Is that what we're talking about here?
Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I've been watching the Clippers. I know y'all going to get mad for me saying this, but ever since Kawhi came over there, Kawhi's been my favorite player for a long time. And the Clippers have been the team to watch, man. Everyone always doubts them. I love an underdog, and they've been playing some exceptional basketball. So I watch every game, even though on the East Coast, man, I got to get some sleep. But, I get my dopamine fix watching the Clips. So that's just what it is.
Where do you rank this Clippers team? Because people are falling in love with them right now. Have you been there with this squad without Paul George? It just seems like the whole addition by subtraction movement and everything going on with this Clippers team.
Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not going to say anything disrespectful about Paul George, but I've never been a Paul George fan. I watch enough basketball to know when I see empty calories. Paul George, listen, Paul George on the court, he'll get his steals. A lot of that comes from Kawhi forcing turnovers. Paul George, he's more of a right place, right time kind of player, in my opinion. And they've never had a top 10 defense with Paul George being in the starting 5. Well, what do you know? Paul George is gone. Even with Chris Dunn out, the Clippers still bought into the defense over everything. Every post-game interview, win or lose, I always hear Kawhi talk about, we can't lean on talent. We got to go with defense first. He's been saying that since San Antonio days. But what do you know? Paul George leaves, Clippers buy into the defense. This is the result. That is addition by subtraction in every way.
Riga is cooking here in New York. That's why I love New York Big Slice pizza.
Hey, man. I watch a lot of basketball, man. Like, you don't need a worse version of Kawhi on the floor, which is Paul George. What does he do that is necessary for winning? No, that's where Zoo comes in. Thank the Lord for him realizing he has to get more touches, man. He just has to. And you're right. They foul him too much. I don't know why he doesn't get calls, but I got a feeling in the playoffs, when the game slows down, they're not going to have a choice but to give him what he deserves. He's going to be at the free throw line. Who knows? 8 to 10 times a game? That's my guess.
All right. Riga, you got to become a regular here on Clippers Talk. I don't know if you're watching on the YouTube side, but people like your energy. They love what they're hearing out of your mouth right now.
Because of everything, man. I also say one thing. T-Man, did you notice he's still reluctant to take the open shot? Did you notice that? I don't know why. What is that?
It's funny. He had a really tough turnaround fadeaway to start, but I think it was at the end of the shot clock, and he just had to put it up.
Yeah.
But
because he was already in the paint. That would have made him look worse. But he gave up a 3 to Batum. No one said anything because Batum made the 3. But T-Man was as open as you're going to get in the NBA. And that was very sad to see because Chris Dunn is out. Hopefully he gets well soon. So, T-Man coming back from the injury, you would just hope like, yeah, he's going to be that spark off the bench. But, he seems like you kind of got to push him and force him to kind of play his game, which is kind of sad. And, I'll be honest, I usually take notes, and I was very upset in the first quarter when Harden had 5 turnovers. But a win is a win, but it's tough to excuse some of those, man. It definitely stings a little bit, but
they got better as the game went along. They had 7 turnovers in the first quarter, I think total 7 or 8. So they eventually got there.
You know what the problem is? It's the did you notice that like if the like pick and roll isn't moving, everyone just stands still, especially when Harden is with the second unit. Sometimes like that Phoenix game, bro, he was giving KPJ grenades. It was like 6 seconds in the shot clock. And he's like, all right, you figure it out. Because it's too stagnant. But Derrick Jones Jr., he's always moving. Every possession, so underrated. Oh, my goodness. He does all the little things, man. But, and Nico had a rough start. But if Nico's on the floor, man, I think we're going to win because he's just so, old school, trustworthy, almost always makes the right plays. I'm very impressed with this team, but I didn't doubt him. Genuinely, I really didn't.
Riger, you're cooking. You're cooking.
Man.
Riger.
When you trim the fat, this is what a good basketball team looks like. They figure it out against whoever they're up against. No Westbrook, thank the Lord. No Paul George. You trim the fat. Because those are just big names. I'm not here for that, man. I'm here for getting it out the mud, man. Winning as a unit.
Riger, I got to take a break. You're too good. Sorry, but call in on Friday, all right? Riger with that Liger-like energy. My goodness.
Yeah, man. I'll be here, man.
We will talk to you Friday, my friend. Quick timeout. Here are Clippers talk after they win in San Antonio, 128-116. You guys wanted the ether beat underneath a New Yorker. You got it. I'm Adam Osland, and this is AM 570 LA Sports. Clippers win in San Antonio, 128-116. Kawhi is 27, Norm 27, Zoo 21-22, James Harden 21-12. The big four absolutely took over when they needed to down the stretch. I'm Adam Osland. All right, let's bring them in. this is a tough act to follow because Riga from New York was just spitting. I didn't know we had an East Coast connect, but apparently we do now as Chuck Mockler joins us here doing a little Clips and Double Dip here on Clippers Talk. Chuck, how you feeling after that victory?
I'm feeling as good as after that victory as I was after that last caller. That guy ruled. Yeah. Anyway, no, I'm feeling great. And I heard you talk a little bit about it. What has me feeling the most hyped was that it was literally 1 minute in the fourth quarter of Kawhi kind of taking charge right at Wemby. I think Norm went right at him too. And when Kawhi checked in with 2:55 left, he decided the game was over. And it was his first clutch time minutes, his first end of the game minutes all year. That has me the most hyped up. And he was doing everything. It wasn't just the offense or the scoring,
Yeah, it was pretty brilliant how they managed his minutes in the fourth quarter. They didn't start him. They brought him in around the 9-minute mark. They took him out around the 4-minute mark. We thought, is that it? But I said on Twitter, like, he's at 27. Is there time for one more minute? And I guess they just wanted to use him later in the ball game there to make sure to leave no doubt, even though the guys out there without Kawhi were pouring it on a little bit. That was just awesome to see. That was great minutes management by the Clippers.
Yeah, and it shows. I mean, they're obviously so confident in how they've gone about this rehab, right? We didn't think he was going to play closing fourth quarter minutes. I mean, I thought it was maybe going to happen against the Lakers or something like that, but he was just under 29 tonight. So he'll be at 30 pretty soon. And the other encouraging thing is just yet again, we see how good this starting five is just as we go on with Kawhi getting better. I mean, it was amazing tonight.
Yeah, and Ivica Zubac was special because Wemby took his lunch last time out. I felt like in game one, he lost the first half, but Zoo won the second half and battled through it. And eventually the Clippers came back down 26. But pretty much from the get-go, and there were some points left out there because he couldn't get a foul, but he was the more physical player. He wasn't intimidated, and he is showing why a lot of people are saying now, is Zoo a top 5 center in this league?
I mean, top 3. But I think he's answering the calls that we've been hearing Ty Lue give him publicly, and I'm assuming privately too, right? About kind of playing big, being able to handle the minutes, because that's been an issue too, right? Like just the ability to play that strong for the entire time that he's out there. But I thought Mike Fratello had a great point. One of the nice developments of Zoo is when he gets the ball now, we expect him to be aggressive, which was not always the case. Even when he got more opportunities, he wasn't necessarily as aggressive. So this season, we're seeing him be aggressive. He had a great offseason too with international play, which always helps him. But yeah, I mean, Brian Seaman said it, but I hope he gets to just be a Clipper for a really long time because he's still fairly young-ish for how many years he's been in the league. Like, I don't know. It could be the start of something great at the 5 spot for the Clips.
For Clipper standards, he's basically like 19 at 27.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that right now. Any concerns, because people are bringing it up in the chat, with the turnovers going on and just how they can remedy that? I still don't think it's that big of a deal because coming into this one, I think they've been turning the ball over just 13 times per game since Kawhi Leonard, when Kawhi Leonard has been available in his 9 games. So I think that's the solution, but a lot of people are still talking about KPJ, things like that. And to his credit, he hit the first 2 shots of the fourth quarter, Kevin Porter Jr., you know?
We needed those. That was it's a roller coaster, right? Like it was down a little bit, but when we needed it was, I think Harden and Kawhi were off the floor when he hit those 2 jumpers. So that anytime you're hitting jumpers with those guys off the floor, I'm not really going to be mad at it because we definitely need it. But the turnovers, it's just kind of something we have to live with. I think we have, like you mentioned, James Harden. I just wanted to have him look a little bit better as we're getting towards the playoffs, right? We're in the middle of a brutal stretch. There's been a lot of games. This is an older team. It's going to look better as we get closer to the playoffs. But for now, like there's nothing – turnovers are something where unless you're fundamentally missing passes and not running the offense, it's kind of hard to fix other than just saying lock in a little bit more. One guy who's distributed.
Focus. Something that I thought was also telling in this game, and it's been a theme over the last couple of weeks, is they're going up against the Spurs. They have Wemby, and the Clippers still do not feel comfortable putting Mo Bamba out there at all. Kai Jones is back in the G League. It's pretty clear they do need a backup 5. I don't know who that guy can be. Clay in here is saying, how about Daniel Gafford? I don't think the Mavs will be giving him up to the Clippers, but it is more evidence tonight that the Clippers do need help there.
Yeah, and they need help because it's been great to see Zubac play these minutes. We do hope he can get a little bit of rest leading into the playoffs. All these guys are going to need it because they're pushing hard to get a good seed. And we need to give Nico a rest, who's going to be playing small ball 5 in the playoffs. Like that's for sure going to happen. I mean, it's disheartening. I had higher hopes for Bamba than I did for Kai Jones, but Kai Jones isn't even getting in when we were down 6 rotation guys. And Mo Bamba, we're having to see some weird lineups because he's just not playable against anyone, really. I don't know, man. I know there's this talk about, what if the Clippers got Lonzo Ball, all that stuff. We need a backup center a lot more than we need, I think, a backup point guard.
I think it's fair. It looks like that right now. Clippers need a little bit more options for Coach Lue to go to, especially in a game like this, but they pulled through anyways. They win in San Antonio 128-116. He is Big Chuck Mockler of Clips and Dip fame. Charles, thanks for coming through late here.
Thanks for having me. Let's go Clips.
Before we get out of here, I do want to thank the Clippers organization, Ralph Lawler, Brian Seaman, Noah Eagle, Carlo Jimenez, Big Brother Jake Warner, our head engineer, Daniel West, our producer here in the bank, the callers, the chatters, the listeners. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you pregame at 4 Friday. Clippers in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. I'm Adam Osman. We'll talk to you then.